Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. Today, I am finally filming a wrap-up video. So I'm going to make this intro as short as possible because I do have some explaining to do before we get on into the books. But I just wanted to say welcome back. I know I posted a video last week, but before then it had been basically a month. So clearly I've been a little MIA. But yeah, I just want to talk about the books. But if you want to see what I'm up to on a day-to-day basis, Twitter and Instagram are the best place to do that. It is at Kendra Cus on both of those things. And also I have a bookstagram at Kendra Cus Reads. But with all that being said, let's just go ahead and get right on into it. So I wanted to start off kind of like explaining everything. Not that I feel that I need to, more so that I want to, just so that like you guys that care, I know not everyone does, but you guys that care actually can like understand what has been going on in life. As you know, this is a very, very, very weird situation. Everyone's going through it. Everyone's trying to figure out how to go through it. Everyone is maybe reading a lot, maybe not reading a lot, watching a lot of movies, watching a lot of books, maybe ignoring our feelings, maybe embracing our feelings. All of us are going through it. I am kind of just trying to figure out how to be happy. We're all happy. I'm fine. I'm happy. I'm fine. But there have been quite a few things that have been taken away from me, as I'm sure, if not all of you, at least most of you are experiencing, whether you're in school or work or all that kind of thing. Like, life has just been so weird. And in the last month, I have not been able to figure out what I wanted to do with my YouTube channel, or why I wanted to post a video, what it was going to be about, why, you know, just like these things weren't really making sense to me. I didn't have like that YouTube creative passion, and like I've never really considered myself a very creative video idea person. I just love YouTube so much, and I love connecting with people through YouTube, and I love making videos. It's not to say they're artistic and aesthetically pleasing. I just enjoy doing this. So I haven't really had that same like creativity and passion, and I've just felt a little lost. I'm sure everyone has had a vacation canceled because of the pandemic that's going on. But like, we had a vacation that was canceled. We were supposed to go like literally 2 weeks from now, we were supposed to leave. I had a massive new experience, job opportunity kind of thing that was supposed to start in May. And now I have no idea when it's going to start. So it's just been a very interesting experience. And I just haven't really felt any sort of like filming drive, I guess you could say. And I also just haven't felt like in the right mindset. I do think though, in times like this, one of the best things to do is to keep being creative. And as a creative person, knowing that people are going to come to YouTube looking for an escape or looking for entertainment, I am trying to continue to make videos because it makes me happy, makes other people happy, but I'm just struggling finding anything to make a video on. Does that make sense? And second part of that, February and March were not good reading months. Especially February. March got a little better, and April's been amazing. I know it's literally like April 16th by the time I'm filming this, maybe even 17th. Nope, 16th. So I know I'm very behind. I could have filmed this months ago, February and March's separately, but once I realized February is gonna be such a bad reading month, then I was just like, okay, I'll film February and March together. And now it's April 16th and I'm just now filming them. So I'm probably not gonna have a ton to say about some of these books that I read almost 2 months ago or more than 2 months ago, because my brain's just not in the right space, I guess you could say, but I'm gonna do my best. So with all that being said, let me know if you guys are feeling the same, or if you guys are like experiencing something similar down in the comments below. I'd love to chat with you guys about it. I know we're all affected by this, and some way more than others. Like, it's just been kind of the craziest time, and I'd love to chat about it if you want to, because I am, first and foremost, naturally a very introverted person, but YouTube is like my creative, outgoing outlet. So I'd love to chat with you guys about everything. But let's talk about books, because I do have some very good ones here. I might have to pull up my Goodreads though to try and remember what kind of reviews I gave these, since it's been a long time. So the first book was so exciting because it was my first physical ARC ever. I've received a couple of ARCs like via NetGalley, but I've never received like a physical ARC, and this was just the most exciting thing. I had like reached out to the publisher and I wanted this book so bad. It's like my most anticipated book of 2020, And that is Where Dreams Descend by Janella Angelis. I finally said her name right. I always say Angels. I don't know why. I'm pretty sure it's Angelis. So I apologize. Don't hate me. I've never claimed to be a name expert. So I think when I first rated this book, I gave it a 4.5 star, but like I kept thinking about it for like a day and a week afterwards. And so I changed my rating to 5 stars because I think I was just being a little too critical. And honestly, I loved this so much. There were things that I wish more happened or there was more development, but like in the end, I loved everyone in this book. I loved the plot. I thought it was so dark. There's a cat here on my nose. It's so itchy. I had the most beautiful acrylic nails and now they're gone. I think I got it. And it's just such a sad day, these short nubs. Okay, so anyways, I rated this 5 stars as I was saying. Literally, there's so much angst and dark, seductive moodiness in this book, which is like my favorite things in a book. If you have this like angsty, moody, seductive, dark, like, I don't know, it's just like the like tension, it just like you're already gonna get like at least a 4 star for me if you have all those things and you execute them well in a book. And this just did so well. Basically, I'm gonna just like give you like a quick little rundown. Honestly, I might just say what it says like in here because it's short and sweet and perfect. Kalia is a 17-year-old showgirl determined to make her mark as the greatest show magician. Captivated by the allure of the stage, she sets her sights on the lost city of Glorian, where passion and chaos both drive her forward and threaten to consume her. So, without giving any spoilers away, because I think the best way to go into this book is just knowing that there are 3 main characters, kind of 2 more than the other, but there are 3 main characters, and the main character mostly is Kalia. She is the showgirl, she is the magician, and then you have another main character named Darren DeMarco, who is also a magician, but he retired 2 years ago, and you don't know why. It's one of the mysteries of this book. And then you have Kalia's like master, like he owns this place that she works at, and he's helped her kind of like survive and live her life. And his name is Jack, and the dynamic between them is just so intriguing. It's so dark. There's always a mystery lying behind the next corner, like, and you're dying to know what's going on. I loved this book so much. Do I think it was the best book I've ever read? No, but I definitely fell in love with this book. I loved the characters. There was so much angst and tension, like I was saying earlier. I wish there was like just a slight bit more of a romance, but the romance was still pretty strong in this book. I can't say it wasn't, like it still was strong, but I just wish it was a little bit more like passionate, I guess you could say. But that makes it sound like it's not passionate. It is. It's great. It's beautiful. I just could have gone with a little bit more. Also, like literally just found myself swooning over both guys, and I found myself literally like falling in love with our main girl. So it's just everyone I loved. I just loved every character. They were all so different and distinct, which is great as a reader to have very different characters, because you know sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes we get non-distinct voices and everything just sounds the same and it's hard to differentiate. But it was great. It's beautiful. I love it so much. They like market it as like Moulin Rouge meets Phantom of the Opera, and it's not like any of those plots. It's just kind of like a similar vibe, I guess you could say. Love it. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Thank you to Wednesday Books and Macmillan Publishing and to Janella Angelis for letting me review this early. This was supposed to come out in June, and because of the epidemic going on, it's not coming out till like August, I think, which just sucks, and I apologize for all of you guys who haven't read it yet. The next book I read in February was Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. This has been a long time coming. This has been on my TBR for like over a year, I think now. And I've had these gorgeous Illumicrate editions since like last fall, and I've just been waiting to get around to them. And I have a lot to say about this book, and then I have like nothing to say. That's how I don't know, I feel like kind of dense. Like I don't know, I can't put my words together, but basically everyone knows the story of this book, so I'm not really gonna get into the premise, but I rated this 4 stars. Originally, I rated it 5 stars. If you follow me on my Bookstagram, I post like mini reviews, and usually I do those right after I finish the book, and then I'll go in a day later and write like my really long review for Goodreads. So originally I had rated this 5 stars, and I don't think it's undeserving of a 5 star. It's just not a 5-star read for me. I was reading this and like enthralled and captivated the whole time. The writing is beautiful. I love Laszlo. Sarai is like my goddess, like everything about her. I love her to pieces. I would literally die for Sarai. But like, have you ever read a book where you were so captivated and loved it so much, but then you put the book down when you're done and you don't feel like you have any personal connection to the book? Like, that's how I feel with this story. I don't know if it's just because there was so many things going on that it kept you from having a personal relationship with the book. I don't know. I love this. Would I recommend this to everyone? Yes, but like, I definitely don't think it's a book for everyone. So I guess I wouldn't recommend it to everyone. Jeez, Kendra. But I would like recommend it to people who love writing style. I don't know, because it's definitely more of like a flowery, you definitely get more of like a writing emphasis on the writing rather than characters or plot. It's like the character and the plot emphasis is still there, but it's definitely more on the writing, which is stunning. It's gorgeous. I've never read anything like it. I've never read anything. Oh my gosh. It's stunning and gorgeous. I've never read anything like it, but it's just not the most amazing book for me. That being said, that's the only gripe I have. Also, it could have been probably 100 pages shorter. Like the first 250 pages are so slow. They're beautiful, but they're terribly slow. Other than that, this book is perfect. Like, it has an amazing main character, it has amazing side characters. The story is so captivating. It's so beautiful. It's just not ever going to be my favorite book. That being said, I do love this copy. I'm happy I have these gorgeous Illuminate versions of this book. It's a stunning book. It really is beautiful. And I see myself potentially rereading it in the future. I think it may be something I would appreciate more on a reread, maybe, because I would think I would catch a lot more, but it definitely wouldn't be anytime soon. I kind of did start Muse of Nightmares, and then I ended up only reading about the first 80 pages and put it down. Not because I want to DNF it, but just I want to be in the right mindset for it. And I was kind of in a reading slump in February, so I was definitely not in the right mindset. So yeah. And then the next book I read in February was actually an audiobook because I do prefer physically reading, especially like I had physically read the first book, but this series is an Audible original. So when they do get printed physically, it ends up being like later on in the year. And the first one is The Bridge Kingdom, but what I read is called The Traitor Queen. And so this is a sequel, so I'm not going to give you any spoilers or anything, but I talked about The Bridge Kingdom, I think in January, so it was actually my last wrap up. But it is about this kingdom. They do like trade and stuff on this bridge, and this one like kingdom, I guess. I don't know. There's like these little kingdoms within their massive world. This one kingdom holds control over the bridge, and the bridge is kind of like highly coveted by everyone else. Some people don't want it because it's too much responsibility, but our main character's father wants the bridge. So the main character grows up her whole life trying to be the most amazing assassin-like character, but also on her outwardly appearance, like look like a perfect princess, because she's going to get married to the prince from the other kingdom, and then she's going to take over the kingdom, kill the prince, kind of thing, and so that her kingdom can have the bridge. I feel like I'm confusing you, and if I am, I apologize. But essentially, it's a romance story. It's a fantasy romance or romance fantasy. Like, it's definitely more of a romance, but the fantasy elements are huge and they are there. So it's like kind of a perfect mixture for me because I love having a fantasy that has kind of like a heavy romance or a very strong side plot of a romance. It was a very good book. I really liked it. I gave the first one 4 stars. I think I gave the second one 4.5 stars. I loved it so much because the way the first one ended, it definitely left everyone on very rocky grounds. Like, everyone's upset with each other. No one's in good graces. Like, they have to kind of work back towards each other, and the way the author did it in a very beautiful way. I feel like it was very realistic. The only thing I will say is it left me wanting so much more. There's only been like 1 or 2 books that have left me wanting way more, and this is one of them. So that's why it didn't get a 5-star from me. Honestly, it could potentially be more of a 4-star because I am kind of bummed about it. And the reason I say that is because online it says it's only going to be a duology, but like we were left wanting way more. Kind of like the big climax just like ends, and then we have like 1 chapter that barely wraps it up, and that's it. And it was just like a tiny bit of a wrap up. It wasn't what we needed. I think we needed like 2 or 3 chapters at the end to really pull everything together. So I'm hoping that there's a 3rd book, but that is all I'll say on that. Okay, so the next book I finished, and I think I ended up finishing this in March. This is Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix. This book, let me just tell you, is a big book. And we all know this. This is not new information. Everyone knows that this is a honker. But the thing is, it is so unnecessarily large. And again, this is stuff we all already know. I ended up giving this 4 stars because I genuinely cannot rate a Harry Potter book less than 4 stars. Like, it just feels wrong because of how much I love the series and the world and Harry Potter and the characters. But this book probably is more, my heart says 4 stars and my brain says like 2.5. That sounds bad, but like, this is so, like, the first half of this book is unnecessary. Let me tell you what this reads like. This reads like a 24 episode season of a like nighttime television show where literally 60% of the episodes are filler because they want to have more episodes and make more money. You know how like lately we get these like really awesome shows on like Netflix or HBO that are only like 10 episodes or 13 episodes a season, and all the episodes are really good because they don't add stupid filler stuff to make it a really long season. Well, that's where this went wrong. It felt like a 24 season episode where 60% of the episodes or 60% of the book was filler and completely unnecessary. There were things about this book that I loved. I loved like the angst and the tension. I loved Harry's angst and tension, and I loved the dynamic between him and Dumbledore. I know a lot of people hate Dumbledore, but I love Dumbledore. And I love the like dynamic between them. Like, do I think Dumbledore should have told him what was going on way sooner? Absolutely, I do think that. But no one's perfect. So, but anyways, I love this series. I liked the ending. The ending got me. I love it so much, but there's so much about this book that could have changed to be way better. I definitely just have a lot of angsty feelings towards this book, and not the good kind of angst that I like in my books. So definitely don't know, like, I mean, I've read this before. I don't know if I mentioned this. If you've been around my channel, you know I've been doing a reread of Harry Potter like over the last year. But this time around, I just could definitely see all of its flaws. So I'm actually hoping to read The Half-Blood Prince this month. And I definitely think that The Half-Blood Prince has potential to be maybe my favorite Harry Potter book. I don't know. Maybe it does. We'll see. But that's that on Harry Potter. And yeah, I don't even want to think about that one anymore because I'm just frustrated. But yeah. So the next book I read was actually Oath Taker by Audrey Gray. I read this on like an ebook or something. And I honestly did not like this book very much, so I honestly can't even remember what I want to say or what I should say. Like, honestly, I forgot almost everything. I kind of have to read my Goodreads review. I rated it 2.5 stars, and I'm just gonna say what I wrote down here. Things happened way too fast without any development, which kind of left me constantly confused. Kind of just felt like a knockoff of Throne of Glass, but without the beautiful character development, or beautiful characters for that matter, that Sarah J. Maas focuses on. Could barely get myself to finish, probably much better suited for a young reader, would probably be a good introduction to fantasy also. Basically, I just felt like this book definitely wasn't written for more of an advanced reader, or more of like a reader who enjoys more of the like new adult spin on fantasy. The romance was kind of blah. The main character didn't vibe with her at all. And it definitely just felt like a knockoff of Sarah J. Maas, which is funny because that's definitely how it's pitched. I kept seeing this on like my Instagram stories, like as an ad, and it always says for like fans of Throne of Glass. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll give it a shot, because I had seen it for like almost a year and I low-key very much disliked it. Honestly, it could probably be a 2-star. I could even like let it down to a 2-star, but I just want to leave it at that. The last like 20% of the book, I found myself skimming the whole way because I was just like, I kind of want to DNF this, but I'm so far into it. So yeah. The next book I read was actually a manga, and it is Sailor Moon Pretty Guardian. This is the first one. Really quick, shout out to Michelle for sending me the second one. Literally love her to pieces. But I read this, love it. I already know the whole story, but you do get a little bit more of the story in this, which is surprising because you would think you would get a little bit more of it in the show, but it's fine. The show's one of my favorite shows of all time. I'm currently on a rewatch of it, and I just love this. I'm pretty sure I just gave it 5 stars because, like, how could I not? It was so cute. The art is just like the show, so if you like that art style, then you'll like this, and if you like Sailor Moon, then you like this. The next thing I read in the month of March was All the Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace. I actually did a live show with Carly and Heather from, I will link their channels down below, by the way, but they have a book club called Cover Horse Book Club, and like every month they find a co-host or a guest host, I guess, And I was the guest host for this. And like, honestly, if you guys ever want me to be a guest host again, just let me know because I'll do it in a heartbeat. But I really enjoyed this book. I gave it a 3 stars. I thought it was a very kind of like a strong entry to a new series, but I definitely think it could have been better. That being said, I did really enjoy it. I liked our characters. This is about a girl who lives in this kingdom, and every island on this kingdom has a different type of magic, and you're only allowed to practice the magic of your kingdom. And so she is having her like coming of age kind of party like thing, and she has to prove herself that she has control over her magic. Things go awry. She ends up escaping the island with this pirate, and it's very cute. I really liked all of our characters, and I actually really liked the plot. The way that the plot was told to us was a little interesting. I kind of feel like they just gave it to us all at the end, which I liked. I liked the plot. I just think it could have been executed a little bit better. One thing I will say, this is some gorgeous writing. First of all, this cover is stunning. This is the Owl Crate cover. The normal color cover is just like all dark blue, I think, or dark purple, something like that. And both covers are stunning, but this one's super stunning. And this cover with the like turquoise and purple and pink matches the descriptions that the author gives us. She is so descriptive. I could envision everything in my mind. It was all like turquoise and pinky and purpley, just like these gorgeous ocean tones. And it was just enthralling and so beautiful. This was also a very quick read, and I definitely recommend this if you're looking for a fast-paced YA story with characters that you will like. One of the things that's hard sometimes when you're reading YA as like an older reader is like you don't vibe with the characters, but I found myself genuinely liking all the characters. And also there's a mermaid in this, and she's really, really great, and I love her. I just wish we got more of her, you know what I mean? We should have gotten more of her, but I'm sure as the series goes on, we will. Really liked it. Super cute. Definitely will continue on with the series. So yeah. Okay, the next book I read is definitely a controversial one. And that is Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. This is a hunker. This is also the Waterstones edition. I personally just felt like if I'm gonna buy the book, I might as well buy the Waterstones edition, pay for shipping, not that big of a deal, because the red sprayed edges, and also I don't have the normal one to show you, but I really like the spine way better. It's like long ways, like hot dog style, I guess you could say. Whereas on the US edition, it says like Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood, Sarah J. Maas. Like it's not my fave, whereas I think this one looks way more elegant, even though everything else is the same. But red sprayed edges and the spine are different. Also, I think this is different. I think the normal one, like the naked hardback, is white and red, I think. And then this one is this stunning maroon, which I like way better also. So I guess it's another element to it. Everyone knows about this book. Let's not pretend like we all haven't heard everything about this book. But basically it follows Bryce Quinlan. She loses her best friend, and 2 years later, they realize they haven't captured the right killer, so Bryce is more than willing to go help find whoever killed her best friend. And it is definitely a very emotional story. One thing I will say to Sarah J. Maas is she always creates characters that I get really captivated by. Like I end up really loving lots of her characters that she creates. And I found myself really, really loving Bryce. She was definitely a very strong lead in my opinion. An interesting, very unique take on a troubled main character, I guess you could say. Gosh, I'm getting cotton mouth. I didn't tell you what I rated this. So initially I rated this 5 stars, and I don't particularly think I want to take that back, but I kind of am. I did change it to 4.5 stars because I loved this book, and even after like a week after reading it, I still loved this book, but I can definitely see the flaws. Personally, I think it is very long, but I also was enthralled the whole time. I never felt like there were lulls in the story, but I know a lot of people have felt that way. And it's just like a toss-up. Like, is it my favorite book of all time? No. Will it ever be a favorite book of all time? No. But did I really enjoy it, and am I very excited for the continuation of the series? Yes. I think that this is more, I don't know, because I felt this way, and then like some of my friends proved me wrong, because out of some of my booktube friends, I actually prefer Throne of Glass over ACOTAR. I loved ACOTAR, but Throne of Glass is more my vibe with the epic fantasy feel. This is like a more urban setting, but it definitely has more Throne of Glass vibes than it does ACOTAR. But some of my friends are saying the opposite. Some of my friends are saying that Hunt is like a knockoff of Rysand. So I don't know. I know everyone's different. Everyone is going to look at a book differently. I enjoyed this. Would I recommend this to everyone? Yeah, I definitely understand why some people wouldn't like it. But to me, I enjoyed it. And I also, like I said, I don't think it's the best book ever. So just know that is a very big book. And it's heavy with like content as well. Like it definitely gets pretty dark and heavy. But I enjoyed it. I loved the more adult feel to it. And yeah, I think the main reason why I loved this book was because I really liked the main character and I liked a lot of the side characters. I thought they were very interesting. I loved Rune. I want to know all of his story. I loved Lehaba, or however you say her name. I loved Adis, the freaking like demon daddy is what everyone's calling him. And he's barely in the book and he was one of the best characters. The merman guy was his name. I don't remember his name. He was great. And Bryce's friends were great. Everyone was just great. I did like Hunt, but he's not like my favorite Sarah J. Maas love interest. That being said, I definitely know Sarah J. Maas loves to just give us like a little taste of romance in the first one and then completely change the romance in the second book or in the third book. So I am prepared for that. That's all I'm going to say. And the last thing I read in the month of March in this 2-month wrap up is Saga Volume 5. Obviously, I can't tell you too much because this is the 5th volume and I'm not going to give you spoilers. I really liked this. I think I gave this 4 stars. It was better than the previous 2 volumes in my opinion, but not as good. I think the second, or was it the second or third, is just so good. I think it's the second one that's so good. And the first one's really good too, obviously. But I really liked this. I'm excited to see what else happens in this story. It's getting pretty crazy and it's taking like the period of time it's taking is over. Why can't I speak? It's taking place. That's what I mean. Taking place over a long period of time. So like people are growing, people are separated for a while. People, like the baby that they have is getting older. It's a very good story. And I'm usually not one for sci-fi, but this is a pretty captivating sci-fi story because it's mainly focused on the characters, which is why I think I love it so much, because it's very character driven. So yeah, I can give it 4 stars if I didn't mention that earlier. Okay, I know this video is quite long, and if you made it this far, thank you. I hope you have been having a good reading month. My reading month has been going really well. I know a lot of people read, like a lot of these booktubers read like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 20 books in a month. That's not me. I'm usually like 4 or 5, if I'm lucky 6. But we're halfway through the month of April, and I've already read 3, and I'm like itching to read. Like I've fallen back in love, obsessed with reading. So I'm hoping to get through 3 more books in this month, maybe even more. I don't have any other plans since we're all locked in the house. So yeah, let me know how your guys' reading is going. Okay, that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please let me know by just giving it a thumbs up. And also don't forget to subscribe if you're new here. If you want to see what I'm up to on a daily basis, if you're feeling it, it's fine if you're not, but if you're feeling it, then check out my Instagram and Twitter. It's just at Kendra Cus on both Instagram and Twitter. And then if you want to see my bookstagram, it's at Kendra Cus Reads. So pretty simple, pretty much follows my YouTube names and everything. So, but I'm gonna let you guys go. Have a great morning, noon, evening, day, night, whenever happens to be that you're watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.